interesting topic. Everyone winning versus building a challenging room. When we started with the architect, we kind of prided ourselves on our very low completion rate, and we penalized people for getting clues. That was a little much.
The photo I used is a loser's trophy.
So I mean, where do we strike the balance between making the room challenging and having, letting people feel fulfilled even in losing? Does everyone get to win, or do some people lose?
Does everyone get a cookie?
Well, that's the way he's putting it, yes. Does everyone get a trophy, or does... Yeah.
I have changed my mind on this. The first 2 years of Trapdoor, I was very adamant on these games should be challenging and die on your sword, because that's the nature of the beast. You're supposed to be putting out effort to get through these. It's supposed to be a challenge, and if you don't make it through, then you just didn't overcome the challenge. Try again. In the second half of Trapdoor's time, so the last 2 years, 18 and 19, I have changed. Actually, no, longer at this point. But anyway, I've changed my my perspective on this, which is why we invented the compete and play for fun modes. In the factor of when we opened in Red Bank, it felt like everybody that was initially coming in was no longer than a half-hour drive. And then that started expanding, and then we were getting New Yorkers, and then we were getting Philly, and then the people coming to us started getting larger and larger. Then we opened Morristown, and people were traveling an hour from Red Bank to Morristown, or vice versa. Now we've opened the Poconos. We had a group that drove 4.5 hours to come play Cure Z. They're not going to come back to play again. And Cure Z at $50 a ticket. That group in particular paid almost $1,000 to be there that night. You kind of got to let them see the whole game. They're paying to see this whole experience. Yeah. And that's where I think as we're evolving more into immersive puzzle-oriented shows from strictly puzzle rooms, I think they're paying to see the whole show.
Right. I mean, I kind of compare it to video games. Like the way video games used to be is you had your certain amount of lives and you were done. The game is done. Now you have your save points, you have your respawning and everything, and you kind of can't lose. As long as you keep going, you kind of can't really lose at a video game anymore. Whereas opposed to Super Mario Brothers, you had your 3 lives and you were done. And that was it. And it's kind of like that. It's like these experiences are costing more and more money. They're getting more and more elaborate, and they a lot more work is going into them. So you want people to see that work. You want people to get the full experience. You want people to have fun with it and leave feeling fulfilled. And I think that we still want it to be somewhat of a challenge, because what fun is it if everybody gets through in a half hour? So it still needs to be challenging. Right. But I think we're definitely, as the industry is evolving, that is evolving as well, and I think that's evolving in a good direction that will be satisfying for everybody.
Yeah, if you want to compete, we have compete mode. You can make your way through the whole thing, and max of 3 hints. If you do it, you get on the leaderboard. The leaderboard seems to be like that crutch that we use to kind of hold it in place. But if you want to just play for fun, then unlimited hints and see the whole thing. Or as close as you can get. Sometimes even on Play for Fun, we cannot get people through the whole experience.
Right, because we do want people to solve the puzzles. We don't want to give them everything.
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive to spend money to have someone hold your hand for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, I mean, like, you came here obviously because you wanted to play the game, and obviously you're going to get challenged, and that's okay. But at the same time, it would be annoying to me to spend like $30, $40 to go to one of these things just to have somebody give me a hint like every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Please do not be the parent that leaves their designated area, goes to the Game Master station, and starts complaining that their kids are not getting enough hints. We
especially after telling us how smart your kids are on the phone before you booked.
Yeah. Yeah, baby Einstein's not making it right now, so we're not giving enough hints.
It'll be okay.
It's definitely not the case. They're getting the same amount of hints that everyone else gets. We automate our hints, so it's not like we're customizing to dumb it down or smarten it up. It's the same experience.
Yeah.
We're not out to compromise your gameplay. It's just how you perceive the hints, and one of the topics is players often ask the win percentage.
Yeah.
And then the same spiel I give everybody, like F5, the Tornado game, has a 50-50 win-loss ratio. So, I mean, you have a 50-50 shot of beating that game. But it doesn't necessarily mean the game is easy.
Right.
It depends on the people in your group and how you perceive everything. We've had groups who are like, oh, we're so dumb, and then they beat the game in like 35 minutes. And then, we've had groups of 2 beat that game. We've had groups of 8 lose. So, I mean, it's not... The difficulty is kind of arbitrary almost, because it's not about how hard the game is, it's about how you perceive everything. So, I mean, if you don't understand basic math, then maybe this game will be difficult. Maybe you don't understand logic, the game will be difficult. But if you do, the game might be easier. This is how you perceive everything. So we're not out to intentionally stymie your game. It just really comes down to how you perceive everything.
I mean, yeah, there are some groups that just get it and just go through the puzzles, and it's like, wow, they thought of that the exact way that they needed to solve the puzzle quickly. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes people just need a little bit of the hint to get their brain working. Sometimes people need more than that. So yeah, it definitely depends on the group and how you perceive and come at the puzzles.
What is next?
Next, and actually that